Hello everyone, I'm back today with another poem by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. You may recall that in an earlier episode I read her poem, A Morning Prayer, which is kind of inspirational. This is another one that I think falls into that category of inspirational poetry. And again, Ella Wheeler Wilcox, as you also might recall me saying, was someone who didn't get a lot of critical respect during her lifetime. But she did have a lot of popularity. People really enjoyed reading her poetry, even if the literary critics were not overly fond of it. But, as Teddy Roosevelt would say, it is not the critic who counts, it is the man in the arena. And a lot of those critics were not out there writing poetry of their own, and they certainly weren't writing poetry that was as well received as Ella Wheeler Wilcox's. Today's poem is called Solitude, and it talks about the fact that when people are happy, others want to share in your happiness. And when we're sad or struggling or grieving, it's often harder to find people willing to share in that. I think a lot of us have been dealing with those difficult emotions over this period of staying at home. Our lives have been upended. Our routines have changed. Who we're able to connect with has changed. And so I think a lot of us have maybe been dealing with these feelings of solitude or isolation. And this poem, I think, definitely can speak to us in difficult times like that. So here is Solitude by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Laugh, and the world laughs with you. Weep, and you weep alone. For this brave old earth must borrow its mirth. It has trouble enough of its own. Sing, and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. The echoes bound to a joyful sound, but shrink from voicing care. Rejoice, and men will seek you. Grieve, and they turn and go. They want full measure for all your pleasure, but do not want your woe. Be glad, and your friends are many. Be sad, and you lose them all. There are none to decline your nectared wine, but alone you must drink life's gall. Feast, and your halls are crowded. Fast, and the world goes by. Succeed and give, and it helps you to live. But no man can help you die. There's room in the halls of pleasure for a long and lordly train, but one by one we must all file on through the narrow aisles of pain. There's something about suffering that is in its very nature isolating, but it's helpful for us to remember, and I think that this is actually what Wheeler Wilcox wanted us to take from this poem, certainly open to interpretation, but I think that what she wanted us to take from this poem is that even though suffering can feel isolating, even though when we're depressed, when we're struggling with an issue, it feels like we're alone in the world. No one else is experiencing what we're feeling. No one else has gone through the same things that we've gone. No one else has felt the grief that we're feeling. That actually that's not the case. We put ourselves in solitude when we're struggling. But if we open up and we let other people in, I think a lot of times we find that they have shared our difficulty. They have shared our grief. There's a gnat in here. They have shared our pain in ways that we didn't even realize before. So for those of us that are struggling right now, I really would encourage you to take a chance and be vulnerable and share with someone. Maybe even somebody who you wouldn't normally share with, but somebody who you think you can trust. And you might find that there's a little more compassion and empathy and willingness to share in that sorrow than you might have expected. So take care of each other, reach out to the people that you love, and don't be afraid to share your struggles. All right, talk to everybody again next time on Mr. Reardon Reads Poetry.